We can still build software just the way we want to. He's like, yeah, what you guys have built is great and appraisers love it. So why would we want to change that?
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Dustin Harris.
And welcome to the program, everybody. Dustin Harris hanging out once again with you. Thanks for joining us, each and every one of you. Boy, our audience continues to grow, and we sure appreciate you spreading the word out there so that we continue to be the #1 appraisal-related podcast in the world. I want to pause here and remind you that we are sponsored by Alamode Software. Of course, Alamode is the software I've been using for over 2 decades, almost 3 decades, folks. And there's a reason they are the leader in the appraisal report writing software game. Check them out. Go to alamode.com, or you can call them at 800-ALAMODE. And we're sponsored by OREP Insurance. Of course, OREP is the insurance that I continue to use because, folks, it's not just insurance. All kinds of benefits come with a great group over at OREP. It's OREP.org. Again, for more information, go to orep.org. I want to reintroduce you to a friend of mine. I've been on the program before. His name is Brandon Reich. And Brandon, welcome back to the program, my friend.
Hey, Dustin, thank you so much. Really great to be here. Appreciate you having me on.
Always good to have you. People can go back and listen to your interview back in, can you believe it was June of 1990, even before COVID that we had you on, man? It's been that long.
1990?
2019. I'm sorry. I was barely out of diapers.
I'm trying to think of what I was doing in 1990. Yeah.
2019. It was episode number 444. At least it wasn't episode 666. I'd hate to be that guy, right? So episode 444, and we talked a little bit about your background. You're from Phoenix. You've been doing this, about 15 years? You're an appraiser, an active appraiser, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So tell us a little bit, for those that did not hear that episode, and again, I highly recommend they go back and take a listen to that because you're a very interesting guy. Tell me what you do in addition to appraising.
Yeah, so several years ago, I made this little spreadsheet. I won't go too deep into it because, like you said, it is on that other podcast people should listen to, but I made a little spreadsheet called Trend Sheet just for myself, ended up giving it to some friends. They said I should try and sell it, so I started selling that spreadsheet, and it went well, and I thought it was kind of crazy that I might be able to make a little bit of money on the side selling a spreadsheet, and talked to my brother about it, who is now my business partner, and we decided to try something bigger. So we made Spark, which is kind of an efficiency tool for appraisers, imports properties, comps, and subject data into your report, and also does a pretty robust market analysis. We have cost data, site extraction tools, all that kind of good stuff. And we built that in 2015, did really well. We're super happy with it. And then about 2 months ago, we also released an adjustment support tool that kind of uses a lot of different methods appraisers use, depreciated cost, sensitivity, group data, regression, paired sales, all that stuff to kind of just give the appraiser, here's the result from the math for what the adjustment might be. Now you go use your appraiser brain, reconcile that information, and you decide what the adjustment should actually be.
Okay, so let's back up just a little bit. You talked about this idea of the spreadsheet. You called it Trend Sheet. Is that still out there, or is that kind of a product in the past?
So I did stop selling it, but it is still available on my website. I don't honestly know how much longer I'm going to keep it up there, but yeah, it's free. So if someone wants to go get it, it's choicevaluation.com. You can go get it for free. I have a couple other tools there. Appraisers can download for free, like an effective age calculator. And I think there's something else there, but anyways, it's free. And I don't know how much longer I'll keep it there though.
Okay. Well, I have to pause here and just point out, if the listeners are not catching on here, Brandon is a very, very generous individual. He's a friend of mine. He is out there, no doubt, to help appraisers. And that's what I like about you, Brandon. Yeah. You are an appraiser. You understand what we go through. You understand the struggles that we're going through. And you've always been about, how can I help make someone else's life better and easier? One of those things, as you pointed out, was, and I get this all the time as a coach, whether I be in my mastermind groups or one-on-one coaching, more and more appraisers are waking up to the idea of, I can't keep doing things the way I've always done them. Meaning, let's just put it on the table, lick my finger, stick it in the air, and whatever works, right? So you developed this idea of Spark and Synapse. Talk to us a little bit more about what that does. Does that solve that problem for appraisers?
Yeah, absolutely. So Synapse, especially regarding actually having support for your adjustments, which is really becoming, as I'm sure you're aware, a hot topic for appraisers, is not just saying, well, my 20 years of experience in the industry is telling me what the adjustment is. You actually got to have support for it. So yeah, Synapse helps immensely with that. It gives you all the support. And our philosophy the whole time, as you'll see in both Spark and Synapse, if you're using it, is we don't want to tell the appraiser what, whether your market's increasing, stable, declining. We don't want to tell the appraiser what your adjustment is. We just want to present the results of math to you that you would want to perform. We just do it quick and easy. And then you, with your experience and appraiser brain, you decide whether the market's increasing, stable, declining. You decide what the adjustment is. And then we have a ton of data that goes into your digital work file that supports all of those conclusions that you drew.
Yeah. I recently was talking to a friend of mine, and this is an individual that will often assist appraisers with struggles they might have with the state board. And he told me a confidential story, didn't share a name, but did talk to an individual who was before their state board. And one of the things that the state board was struggling with is why he had made a certain evaluation or adjustment or something. It had something to do with the cost approach, maybe the site value, something like that. And his answer was, well, that's what the computer came out with. Right. The proverbial black box, you throw things in and you trust what comes out on the other end. Your product's much different than that. Meaning it's very transparent what's going on, right?
Yeah, exactly. In fact, one of the harder things we did was in our site extraction tool within Spark. I shouldn't say it's hard, but it's kind of tedious, but showing all the math of an appraiser extracting site value from multiple properties and putting it in the work file so that you don't just say, okay, state board, here's everything that Spark gave to me, but it actually shows the actual math. So you as the appraiser can understand, here's exactly what's going on, nothing black boxy about it. I can replicate this myself if I want to, and it's not hard to replicate.
You've been growing as a company.
Yeah, we're doing well.
I think the reason I bring that up is I think more and more appraisers are waking up to this idea that, again, what they've done forever is not going to work anymore. What you're done and say, well, you know what, that's what the black box kicked out, or that's what my experience shows. I'm 25 years in the industry, and this is what's going on. That can't happen anymore.
No, exactly. In fact, kind of my impetus in the beginning to even make that original spreadsheet I made was everything crazy that happened in the market in 08 to 2010. Which is all the craziness, the declining. Basically, everyone in the company I was working in, I shouldn't say everyone, but most people were like, yeah, just mark stable, it'll be fine, don't worry about it. And I was like, man, I'm new to that. I'm relatively new to this, but that doesn't seem like the right thing to do. So anyways, that was kind of what caused me to create that spreadsheet, to just have support and actual data to make my decisions off of, rather than just like throwing my finger in the air and deciding.
We're talking with Brandon Reich. He, of course, is with Choice Valuations, product Spark and Synapse. When we get back to the program, get back from our sponsorship, I want to talk a little bit about an announcement that Brandon has to give here on the program today. So stay tuned for that. I want to pause here and remind you that we're sponsored by great companies. One of them, of course, being a la mode. A la mode software is the software that I've been using for many, many years. Why? Well, folks, they make it easy. They make it easy to be good. And what I mean by that is they allow you to be able to be efficient without cutting any quality. And I think that's the goal of any great business, and especially a business like ours that relies on quality. If you've not checked them out recently, folks, I would implore you to go to their website. It's alamode.com. Check out some of their videos and see what they have to offer. If you're with any other company out there, I implore you to check out Alamode, or you can pick up the phone and call them at 800 Alamode. OREP is the E&O that I've been using for many years. And I'll tell you, folks, most appraisers don't think about E&O. They just don't. They think about it once a year when they renew, and they look at it and go, that went up a little bit from last year, and oh well, I guess that's the way the world is. And they write the check and they send it off, and the next thing you know, they're on to their next appraisal. Folks, you should really think about your E&O. You should think about the company that you're utilizing, because when you need it, you need it. And when you don't need it, you want a company that allows you to have great benefits like OREP will have. If you are with any other company, jump on the website. It's orep.org. Check it out. Do one thing for me. Look at the benefits tab, click it, and just see what they have to offer and compare it to what you currently have. I promise you they bring more to the table. It's OREP. You can find out more at orep.org. All right, folks, we are back. We're talking with Mr. Brandon Reich, good friend of mine. If you hear a little bit of background noise, little birds chirping in the background, he's pacing around his backyard. I'm a little bit jealous. I'm sitting in a closet, if you will, recording this, and he's out enjoying the beautiful sunshine down in the Phoenix area, right?
Yeah, that's right. Sorry about that noise, by the way.
It's all good. It's all good. We can hear you well. I just wanted to explain to the listeners what they're hearing in the background there, that it's not, we're not putting sound effects in there. Those are actual birds chirping. And we welcome you back to the program, Brandon. I appreciate you sharing a little bit about what Choice Valuation, Spark, Synapse, some of the products that you bring to the market. I will tell you, I've talked to a lot of appraisers, Brandon, and those that are using Synapse are absolutely blown away. It's a fairly new product, right?
That's right. Yeah, it's only been out for a couple months now.
Okay. And what are you finding as the feedback from your customers?
Generally speaking, a big thank you. Like this is, yeah, basically all the math that we do is all stuff that appraisers want to do, or some appraisers already are doing, but it's just so tedious to kind of go in and do all of that yourself. Whereas now they can basically, the appraiser can choose their data, load it in, we perform the math, and then just let the appraiser make their decisions. It's yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty great. Obviously I'm biased, but yeah.
Once somebody learns how to, this is a question that I often get asked when we get on the topic of tools like this, right? Because again, it comes down, as I was talking about in the sponsorship, when we were talking about Alamo, it comes down to this balance between quality and efficiency, right? We want to have high quality reports, but really, let's be honest, if we did everything that we quote unquote have to do on an appraisal, it might take us a week to get an appraisal done, right? We've got to balance out this quality and efficiency end of things. And so the question is, if I use Synapse, how much time is it going to add to my appraisal process? What would be your answer to that question?
Yeah, that's a great question, because really that's sort of our goal, is to figure out a way to allow the appraiser to not sacrifice quality, but still maintain efficiency. So the answer kind of varies based on appraiser. If you're an appraiser that doesn't ever get support for your adjustments, and you kind of just type in a number because it's what you've always done or it was how you were trained, then this will add a little bit of time to your process, maybe 5 minutes or so, depending on how complex the property is. But if you're an appraiser who's typically gone and done all this yourself, then this should be saving you gobs of time. I don't know how much, but a lot, because now basically we just perform all that math in a few seconds on all those different methods. And yeah, it's done. And then you just choose what your opinion of that adjustment should be.
I love that answer. And it brings up another question. What about somebody like me? And what I mean by that is we have very limited data. There's just not a whole lot of sales in East Idaho. In any given market, there's just not a whole lot of stuff to choose from. Does a product like this help me?
Yeah, I mean, so I would say definitely yes. I mean, obviously more data is going to be better, but we have options in Synapse where you don't have to rely on one set of data. You can upload multiple sets of data and say, okay, well, this set of data is so limited that it's not really giving me much. So then I can rely on this other set of data, maybe tweak it a little bit so it's more like competing properties and get results from that. Or we also have depreciated cost, and depreciated cost, as long as you get the depreciation right, that can also be a really reliable indicator of what an adjustment might be. And it doesn't require you to have MLS data, like a lot of MLS data, because we're not crunching math on any of those MLS properties. We're just using what you've determined as the physical depreciation and applying that.
That's super cool. I love it. All right, my friend, I teased this before the sponsorship. I want to jump into a great announcement. I'm just going to turn the microphone over to you to just share what is new with choice valuation.
Yeah, so what we've done is we decided to sell Spark and Synapse to True Footage. And not only have we sold to True Footage, but we are also employees of True Footage. So you guys are all still stuck with us building software for you. Our goal is to continue to improve Spark and Synapse. We still have a lot planned for Synapse. We think we can make it a lot better. And we have plans to, like, a major overhaul of Spark to make that quite a bit better as well. So we're still here, you're stuck with us, and we're excited to continue with this. I know there's going to be a lot of questions, but I will say that there were pretty much three main things that kind of guided this decision and made us feel comfortable selling Spark and Synapse to True Footage, and also deciding to work for them. And a lot of this just hinges on, like you said, I listened to your podcast, Dustin, when you were talking about doing this and talking about John, and you had John on. Like, basically, he has assured us, and in the beginning we were skeptical.
Sure.
Like John, for people who have talked to him in the beginning, at least, I think a lot of people seem really skeptical, and Kyle's my business partner and brother, but we were both skeptical because we're like, this, like, everything he's telling us just seems almost too good to be true. Like, is this really the truth? Is he being honest with us? And we were just like, yeah, we're not super interested right now. And so but we kept talking to him, and at some point he's like, okay, well, do you guys want to do anything? And so I told him, like, John, it all seems too good to be true. And he's like, well, how can I convince you that I'm being honest and upfront with you? And I was like, just let me talk to anybody in the company that I want to with no notice. Just give me their phone number, and I want to call and talk to them and have a real conversation about what it's like. And also I wanted to have conversations with people that know John or know True Footage but aren't employees. And so he's like, okay, yeah, no problem. So he basically said, just call whoever you want to. So I immediately called Dustin. So Dustin, I called you. We chatted on the phone. Yep. Yeah, we chatted on the phone for a while, and I just asked you any pros, cons, like what is it? Is it really like you said in the podcast? Like, is that really something I should believe? And basically, yeah. And you made us feel really comfortable. Then I talked to Blaine. I talked to Paul Rowe, a great appraiser in the Chicago area. Brian, anyways, I talked to a bunch of people, and then after that, because I'm talking to my wife and family, and I'm like, yeah, this seems so great. And we talked to all these people, and he's assured us that Brandon and Kyle, or I'm sorry, that Kyle and I can still be who we are. We can still build software just the way we want to. He's like, yeah, what you guys have built is great, and appraisers love it. So why would we want to change that? And so we're telling our family members this, because this is a really big decision for us. And and they're like, well, you talk to employees, so of course they're going to say nice things. And I was like, well, the difference is, like, these are people that I know and I trust. And then, like, well, does it hurt to go talk to other people that aren't employees? And I was like, no. So basically, we reached out to other people who have had experience with True Footage, who have had experience with John, and they all said the exact same thing. It's just crazy. And so, yeah, so that was really the main thing, is John assuring us that we can continue being who we are and building software that we want to build. So that was really one of the main things. The other thing is, there's a lot of companies out there that might want to buy Spark and Synapse, but might not have this really appraiser-centric mentality. And again, in speaking with you, in speaking with Blaine and Paul and Brian and all the other people who are appraisers, like real appraisers, like, they had nothing but great things to say and nothing but positive things to say about what True Footage and John are trying to do going forward. And so that really kind of set our minds at ease. In addition to, again, all the things that John told us, this is what we want to do. We want to do the right thing by appraisers. And so anyways, yeah, that was number 2, is really having that appraiser-centric mentality. And then kind of last is, Kyle and I, we're just 2 people, and we do pretty much, other than phone support, we pretty much do all of it. We write the code, do the company finances. We do all of it. We don't hire anything out to anybody, really, other than we have 4 phone support people. And there's a limit to what we're able to do. And so being with True Footage, now we have so many resources that we can go in and enhance the products we've built, and not only enhance them, because Kyle and I could do that on our own, but enhance them in far greater time. And actually, because we have so many people working on the problem we're trying to solve, whatever the pain point is for appraisers, we have better ideas, because we're our 2 brains versus our 2 brains plus all the brains at True Footage. And by the way, lots of solid appraisers and solid developers, like, focusing on how to solve a problem. It's just so much better. And then on top of that, getting to expand. So right now, one of the downsides with Spark and Synapse is we have a limited coverage area, and we're going to try to figure out a way to make it so Spark works everywhere. And I think we're going to be able to do that. But worst case scenario, if we can't solve that, now, because of the resources we have, we can make Spark work in far more markets way faster than I would ever have been able to, because that's basically something only I did. And it took me around 2 to 4 weeks per MLS. And so, there's hundreds and hundreds of MLS systems. So now, instead of me taking a month, let's say, we might be able to crank out, a few in a week. So, and that's worst case scenario. So anyways, yeah, all those things just added up to, like, it felt like a no-brainer to us. We get to work for this company that really is great. And by the way, all along the process, just like you said in your podcast, Dustin, cut me off here. I feel like I'm talking a lot, but all,
I love it. Keep going.
All along the way, like, he really has lived up to what you guys all told us, and what he told us. Like, every step of the way, we're like, you know what, John, we don't feel comfortable with this. We want to do this instead. And he's like, okay, yeah. And we said, well, John, how would you want to do this? And he's like, you tell me. However you think you should do it, that's how you should do it. He's like, you guys are the guys who are great at building software, so we're just going to stick with that. And it's just like, it's like that every step of the way. And honestly, we just couldn't be happier. We're so excited.
That's exactly the experience that I had. Almost word for it. Can you tell he's excited, everybody? This is this is a great. I'll tell you a quick story, Brandon, just to support what you're saying here. I was on the phone with John yesterday, actually, and just chatting with him. And one of the things he asked me, kind of out of the blue, wasn't really even part of the conversation. He said, "Haven't I done everything that I promised I would do for you?" And I'm like, yeah, actually you have, because I think anybody with this kind of a change comes in with a little skepticism, right? You've got this company, you've got John Liss, who is not an appraiser. Now he's a trainee, but he's not, that's not his background. Yes, he has a background in real estate, but he's a Ivy League graduate who is, has big dreams and big visions. And sometimes you wonder, are the visions too big for what appraisers are can support? And he along the way has surrounded himself with great appraisers who understand the market, who understand, when I say these are great appraisers, these are successful business owners in their own right. And so his role has always been, listen, I'm the CEO of the company, but I'm going to defer to the appraisers for advice on how to do appraisals. That would only make sense. One of the things that impressed me most about John in the beginning, and I shared this on a previous podcast, is he asked me what my goal was, what my future looks like. And I turned around and said, John, you tell me, what's your future look like? And without hesitation, he said, to beat the big guys, but to do it with appraisers, right? There's so many things out there that are trying to replace the appraiser.
Right.
And his role is to, you know what, we're going to beat them by using the expertise of appraisers. And that's why I love this partnership with Spark and Synapse, because that's what you do. You spent the first half of the program talking about what Synapse and Spark does. And what does it do? It supports the appraiser and what the appraiser does for their own decisions.
Yeah, exactly, man. I couldn't agree more. And like you said, Ivy League, he's young. I mean, to me, he's young. I don't know. I'm guessing he's in his late 20s. The Ivy League part, like it's hard. Maybe this is me being ageist, but it's hard for young people who have this kind of background, and he's the CEO of a company, to kind of be humble in decision making. But in my experience so far, that's all he's been is he has opinions. He thinks this is the right way to do it. But and I have a specific example in mind. I won't get into too much detail, but there was something he really wanted to do that I wasn't sure. It seemed like that might not be the wisest thing to do, and it ended up that he got data to support that was not the right thing to do, and he immediately just said, "Okay, we're not doing that. We're moving on to the next thing." And it's just like that kind of thing is hard to come across in people like that. But John's got it, and it's great.
Well, I've always been impressed with the products that you put out there, Synapse, Spark. To begin with, Trend Sheet, I could not be happier with this decision because, as everybody knows, I joined True Footage here a few months ago. Been very happy with my decision, and just thrilled to know that we're going to have that backing of the products that you provide to help us to be better appraisers. Of course, the big $64,000 question, my friend, is: with you joining True Footage, does that mean that this software is exclusive to True Footage?
No, it is absolutely not exclusive to True Footage. Everybody's still going to be able to use it. There are no limitations. Nothing will change. As far as our customers go, there are no changes that they should experience. Everything will work like it always has.
Good.
Customer support is exactly the same. We're keeping the exact same people. Again, that was part of what we worked out with John, is we want to keep the same people. That customer support level cannot go down. That's vital for appraisers. Like, this is software they got to use for their living. That can't drop at all. And so, he's completely on board. And really, none of our customers should experience any difference at all.
Brandon, welcome aboard. I think you'll love it here at True Footage. It's been a great ride for me so far.
Thanks, man.
I'm very thrilled and excited for the future with you, my friend. Thank you for joining us.
Same here. Really appreciate it, Dustin. Thanks a lot.
We'll be talking soon.
All right. Take care, man.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.